Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Dangerous developments in Ukraine. I think it enters the second phase. I think it's going to be three phases. The first one is the one that we had so far. This is the second phase. The third one will be troops on the ground. So what is the second phase? United States of America withdraws from formal Ukraine peace negotiations. That is after it got some loot from Ukraine. The United States of America is going to arm and train Ukraine. The United States of America approved about $310 million in F-16 aid. That is, they will provide repairs, parts, and probably will provide F-16s in the near future. The United States in the same time prepares sanctions against Russia. In the United States of America changes its approach in dealing with Russia. All this for this video. I have about 10 articles ready for you. So let's start with this one. And in this one, I showed you, I have a few videos that I made in May 1st, April 30th, in which I discussed the mineral deal. And I call this a plunder operation. And a globalist being in charge. And how Ukraine became a US colony de facto by agreeing to the so-called mineral deals. So let's start with that. That shifted everything that I'm going to discuss today. The United States of America did not withdraw until it got it signed. The United States of America did not guarantee Ukraine's safety. The United States of America did not provide Ukraine with more aid. They provided with about 52 million. They unlocked that or unfroze that, and now they are giving them 52 million, and they will give them 315 or 310, I think it was. I will show you. And they will impose sanctions. Remember, Lindsey Graham said that he would like to impose sanctions on Russia 500%. All right, so who's in charge? Let's start with the first topic. US withdraws from Ukraine peace negotiations. And we're going to find out how this person here, this individual here, discussed with this individual here in Rome weapons and sanctions. All right. The United States will no longer mediate peace negotiations between Ukraine and Russia after Vladimir Putin refused to sign up to a ceasefire. Now, you know my position on the United States of America being called the mediator. The United States of America was not the mediator, was the spokesperson and part of the conflict of the losing side. Why do I say this? The evidence is right there. What is the main cause, the main root of this conflict? It's not that Zelensky has a big nose or something. It's not that. It's because NATO expansion. That was the reason. And then from there you sprang into other things. Ukraine neutrality, overthrowing the Lukashenko's government in 2014. Lukashenko, Jesus Christ. Yanukovych, Lukashenko is the Belarusian. Viktor Yanukovych's government in 2014. With the help of whom? We have Victoria Nuland, Zelensky's cousin. And then from then on. So the United States of America, firstly, it's not a mediator between the two. He's the losing part talking with whatever you want to call Russia at this point. And now he just says, you know what? I'm just going to withdraw myself. I got the loot and I'm going to finance you. And when you lose or when you're going to cause damage in Russia or they will use some nuclear weapons on you, I will come again as a mediator, not as a losing side. But it's not only that they are saying that Putin refused, as this guy said, to sign up to a ceasefire. They have details. And this guy said, no, you do it the way we want. That's exactly another root cause of the conflict. You don't impose to Russia. And the American says, yes, we do. There you have it. These guys behave like they're the big daddy of the planet. And Russia says, no, you're not. You are big, but not that big. What else? The State Department said that it is changing the methodology of how we contribute to the talks and will no longer fly around the world at a drop of a hat for meetings. So this guy said this: we're going to pretend we're going to negotiate. We show goodwill to everybody. This is a propaganda thing. We're going to show goodwill. We're going to talk to the Russians. We're going to impose certain kind of requirements, like ceasefire, all of it. The other guys will obviously refuse, and then we say, we can't talk to the Russians. Nobody can talk to the Russians. The Russians are just crazy. The only thing that could speak against them is the sound of a gun. And now they pretend they know what? I'm out of this. But in the meantime, they're going to provide Ukraine with everything. They're still in, even more now. We will come to help. Help. What do you mean help? But we will no longer fly around the world as mediators in meetings. These are Tammy Bruce. I mean, does she have to say that, or she's told to say that? You are not the mediators. You are not the good guys here. You are not the guys who are trying to stop the carnage. After all, it's because of NATO that started all this. All right? So it's unbelievable. It's like, I don't even want to give you the analogy with a rapist who says, you know what? I'm done, man. I'm done with you. I try to negotiate with you. Don't arrest anybody. I'm good. I'm done, man. I'm not gonna... What are you talking about? You are right there in it. But that's the first one. The second one, they blame Trump for it, obviously. Trump withdraws U.S. from Ukraine-Russia peace negotiations. Why they say Trump withdraws? Because this guy's probably is Trump bad all the time. Now, Trump is not bad all the time, like I don't think anybody can be bad all the time. And Tammy also said, the one I mentioned before, she said that ultimately Trump is the decision maker regarding the Ukraine peace negotiations. And here these guys claim that that's the way it is. The United States will no longer formally lead efforts to end the war between Ukraine and Russia. No, they will not. They will participate, as they did before. Next. U.S. prepares new sanctions against Russia, according to Reuters. Do you think that this was just because Putin said we have to discuss the details in the ceasefire? Do you think that's it? I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you and your wife, and let's say all of a sudden you say something stupid, and says, okay, that's a divorce. For that, for instance, for that, what about the rest? I can give you many examples with friends. You cheat a friend on a 50 cent or something. Oh my God, you're not my friend, you're done. Oh yeah, well, I made a mistake. No, that's it. That means that person wanted to leave you for a long time. The same here. We're done, man. And in the meantime, we're going to sanction you. We're going to give Ukraine money. We're going to train them. We have everything ready in line. Just because of that thing. As I said, it was a justification just to show the baboons in the world, the baboons, that we tried again, but you can't negotiate with these guys. You know what we're going to do? We're going to withdraw, and we're going to let them deal with one another. No, you're going to be, again, continuously on that side. And you're going to be the person who's going to fuel the fire. You're going to give enough, whatever is needed over there. And when they lose, you're going to say, it was not me, they lost. All right, Reuters. United States has reported that U.S. officials, officials, who are the officials, have prepared some new economic sanctions against Russia. There you go. Let's see next. This comes from the Ukrainian, from Ukr Forum. U.S. drafts new sanctions against Russia. U.S. officials have finalized. Wow, wasn't that fast? Wasn't that fast? Do you think that these guys finalize these kind of things in an hour? New package of economic sanctions against Russia to increase pressure on the Kremlin to stop the war against Ukraine. So I thought you were done. Oh, yeah, we were done. We tried. You don't want to do what we tell you. Therefore, we go back to what we've been doing so far. Accelerate it. You'll see. You'll see. The new sanctions will target Russia's energy giant Gazprom, as well as large companies operating in the field of natural resources and banking, an administration official told the agency. Banking? Okay, then you know what you're going to do? You're going to make the Russians continue their BRICS attack on the petrodollar. That's what's going to happen. And then you are going to sanction everybody else that you think, and you're going to threaten everybody else with attacks, with bombardments, like we do, the good people, right? And if you don't do what we tell you, if you don't choose to do business in our currency, because otherwise, free market out there. This is the good country of, that we are freedom, democracy, capitalism, free market, freedom of speech. It's just a baboonish idea. I mean, they're beautiful ideas that are not working because they're not meant to work. It's for us here to say, yeah, but they do over there whatever they want. Next is, according to the Russians, United States ready to impose new sanctions on Russia amid stalled, the Russians call it stalled, Ukraine peace talks. Again, US officials have prepared a new round of sanctions against Russia, including measures against the banking and energy sectors. Got that? Next one. American officials present Trump with options to increase economic pressure on Russia, but they are neutral. You're not neutral, you haven't been neutral at all. And if you tell me, you ask me, nobody said we were neutral, then how can you be a mediator? A mediator is a person that's in between. It doesn't have, your back or your back. That's a mediator. Otherwise, if you can't be a mediator between the two if you're part of one. That means, like, you send, for instance, Vitkov, a Jewish guy, to deal with the Arabs in the Middle East in the name of America. He's the mediator, he's the US envoy to the Middle East, and he's Jewish. He's going to discuss with the Arabs, with the Palestinians, the American interests, and he's going to have what? The Arabs and the Jews, Israelis on the other side, and it's going to be, I'm on anybody's side. And Zelensky is also Jewish, and Vitkov goes and talks to Putin. And you had Blinken, the former Secretary of State of the Americans, and they were looking for whose interest exactly? I mentioned this memberships because I want you to understand that you don't see Romanians, like Romanian origin Secretary of State of the United States of America, dealing with a Romanian ethnic in Ukraine, dealing with the Russians, or you know what I mean? You don't see that, but you see all this. And anyway, don't connect any bad dots, only the good ones. And we find out that these guys supposedly discussed in the Vatican, Zelensky discusses US sanctions against Russia with Trump. This guy? I mean, with all due respect, which I don't give until it's earned, who are these guys? I mean, before 4 years, let's say before January 2022, nobody knew about Ukraine. They thought that maybe Ukraine is like a theater or something, like kabuki. Hey, we're gonna play some or cards. I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but aside from us, from the Eastern Europe that know about the Ukrainians, or Ukrainians themselves, or Ukrainians who live abroad in Canada and United States of America mainly, and all of a sudden they tell Trump, discuss sanctions against Russia. You know what's going on. Zelensky is Zelensky. Anyway, and let's see how the Americans are going to give money to the Ukrainians for the F-16s. But why do you give money? Let me show you right there. Training and support services. Why do you do this if no more F-16s are showing up? To maintain them? Are they injured? Destroyed? What's going on? Just the mere title tells you the war enters a new phase, because they haven't done this before. US approves $310 million sale of F-16 training and support services to Ukraine. Well, that's fine. At least they give this old plane over there. The US Department approved potential sale to Ukraine of training. What do you mean training? Do you mean like, I don't know, how do you call those, simulators and technical equipment for F-16 jets with a total value of $310 million. And they will probably give them F-16s in the future. The package includes modification and modernization of aircraft, training of personnel in operation, maintenance and sustainment support, spare parts, consumables and accessories, along with repair and return support, ground handling equipment. That means they're going to improve they're going to expand the business. Delivery and support of classified and unclassified software, studies and surveys, engineering and logistics services provided by the US government and the contractor. You got it? That's what's going to be. There's going to be an increase of war. New voice of Ukraine, Washington green lights. Okay, we got this one already. Next, again, US approves F-16 training sustainment package sale to Ukraine. Approves already. The other ones has now this has approved the possibility of selling that they're selling. All right, they're selling because Ukraine has money. Whose money? Our money that we give with one hand, and the big companies take with the other hand. That's great. U.S. Department announces shift in approach to negotiations on Russia-Ukraine war. That's one, and the other one, we'll see how the Russians see it. U.S. clarifies position on Ukraine conflict peace talks. We're not going to be gone. We're just going to go back where we were. The U.S. Department has stated that Washington plans to change its approach to efforts aimed at ending the war between Russia and Ukraine. Now it's between the United States of America and Russia. While the United States will remain involved, oh yes, it intends to take a less active role and will no longer act as a lead mediator. Okay, we got it. So that's what she says, that in response, Bruce said Trump aims to act primarily through diplomacy, yeah, and also knows also that there is another part of the world, a whole globe that needs some attention. Oh my God, when the rest of the globe hears that, they don't want your attention, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right, and it says here, and the secretary has also made it very clear that while our style will change, the methodology of how we contribute to this, we already know how, sanctions and military, will change in that we will not be the mediators, self-appointed, put it that way. That is what I mentioned on Tuesday, and the nature of how this would change is we certainly are not still committed to it. We are still committed. We certainly are still committed to it, and will help and do what we can. These are idiotic statements. I tell you why. You're committed to what? To the peace talks, and will do and help what we can in what? Your side? All right. So he said, but we're not going to fly around the world. We are not going to be the good guys. We're going to just, you're too baboons for us. All right. Now it's time that they need to present and develop concrete ideas about how this conflict is going to end. It's going to be up to them. While in the meantime, we arm one side, but we are the baboons in the middle, supposedly. Again, Russia Today, 3rd of May. U.S. clarifies position on Ukraine conflict peace talks. Washington has denied that it is walking away from negotiations. And this is what Rubio says. If there is no progress between the two parties, we would step back as a mediator. This is Bruce. Speaking to Fox, Rubio said, we are not going to give up on it, in the sense that we're not going to be ready to help if we can. We're not going to be ready to help if we can. We are not going to give up on it, in the sense that we are not going to be ready to help if we can. So I think something is missing here. So he wants to, at some point in time, it either has to be something that can happen, or we all need to move on. There'll be the decision the president will have to make. And then Bruce clarified on Fox, right now our posture is the same, but if there is no progress, it will change. She denied that the administration is walking away from peace efforts, she said. This guy says Moscow recently said is ready for direct talks with Kiev without preconditions. But Zelensky rejected the offer, calling it an attempt and manipulation about the 72-hour ceasefire. So that's all I have for as articles, and this is my conclusion. It was a game. I said I think it was a game. It was a mild attempt, which is this is United States of America. I will issue a capitulation for you to sign, and you have to agree with me, which I'm actually part of NATO, which you cause it the root cause, which I am NATO, and I've been advancing to your borders. Remember, threatening you, but no, I'm the defensive organization, bombarding Yugoslavia in self-defense, bombarding Libya in self-defense, bombarding Iraq in self-defense, Afghanistan in self-defense, Syria in self-defense. We are just, everybody picks on the bully, and the bully has to smack everybody around. So we give you an ultimatum. Everybody sees that we want to negotiate, even though everybody knows we're not the mediators. You obviously will refuse it. We'll get offended by that because we should be in a position to dictate, even though in Ukraine things are not going our way yet. We get the loot from the Ukrainians. We're going to finance the Ukrainians now because we got upset because you are not reasonable, Putin. We're going to go back. We're going to fund these guys. We're going to train these guys in a war. And this is the second phase. And we'll see if we're going to put more pressure on Russia with maybe some military. And when that happens, we enter the third phase, which is going to be a nuclear war. That's how I see it. With the Russians, will say, we're going to use it, and that's it. And I said this many times before, why do you waste time? Sometimes in a conversation with people, or in negotiations, you understand, I mean, at least I say understand, or in certain situations, you understand where the conversation goes to. Are you going to put up or put out? You're going to put out or you're not going to put out? You're going to or not? That's where it goes. Why do we need to how should I put it, waste so much time and energy when eventually you're going to say no? Or the question is going to be, are you going to do it or not? It's all this, I waste my time, you waste your time. So the same here, after 3 years so far, and more to come. Eventually, if Russia doesn't collapse, and these guys are waiting for that, they will get to that point where they probably should have been in February 2022, when the Russians would have said, you sent a bullet to my enemy, you're my enemy, this is my proposal. Boom. Are you going to do it? I give you, as I said, I give you 32 seconds, 3 hours, 1 day, 5 days. Stop, not too much, not too long, so they can, no, I give you 2 hours. If in 2 hours you don't give me an answer, this is what I'm going to do. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah, I'm crazy, let's go. And I guarantee you everything would have stopped right there, without casualties, without more territory taken. I guarantee you that. These guys will say, okay, do it. I would do it probably on a location where there's no military, or even if it's military, and live with the consequences in a way that it's not only me who use nuclear weapons, it's the good people of America. So we're going to be just like them. So if that was good, we do a good thing. If that was bad, then we're doing a bad thing. So which one is it? You can't just say, oh, the atomic bombs dropped, helped our boys and shortened the war. This would prevent the war, not start a war. But that's me. But now they're going to get to that one. I don't know exactly. It's the second phase of the war. We find the third one, as Albert Einstein was asked one time, Albert, how do you think the Third World War will be fought? And he said, I don't know how the Third World War will be fought, but I can tell you how the Fourth World War will be fought. Tell us, Albert. It's going to be with clubs. Because the third one, we're going to clear everything for the fourth. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.